Therefore, when we're talking about families, we have to be very clear about what their current situation is and how they will react to different things and how they're going to react to one, having another adult at home, and you are another adult. Okay, you're not one of the kids. Um, Two, what they consider to be good manners and bad manners. Three, how they react to those good manners and bad manners. How are you going to feel? You're going to feel offended when they ask you, um, you know, say, like, do you normally have a shower? Hmm. When they say, please don't have showers in the morning. What? Okay. When they say, you haven't been washing your clothes, they might say, you haven't been flushing the toilet. I don't know. I mean, all these kind of like weird things, okay? How are you going to react to those things? The first thing you have to do is say, families will often say things, Spanish families at least, are pretty kind of straightforward and out front, and they'll say things. You might feel offended. They're not trying to offend you. If they ask you about, are you having a shower? Maybe what they're saying really is, we're interested in the time you have a shower. And it might be at home, if there's, if it's a larger family, that maybe the kids have a shower in the evening before they go to bed, and the adults normally have showers in the morning. It might be, I don't know. Some houses have kind of big hot water tanks, and if there's 7 people at home, then that might not be enough water for everybody's shower at the same time. So if that sort of question comes up, it's not questioning your hygiene. It's just trying to sort out family schedule. Okay. If they say, are you washing your clothes? Well, it's not necessarily that they think, again, you're walking around with sort of loads of food stains on your sweatshirt and stuff like that. No, it just might be they're introducing the subject of, well, we as a family normally do our washing 2 or 3 times a week. If you've got light stuff, put it with our light stuff. If you've got dark stuff, put it with our dark stuff. Or do it alone. Those are the kind of things then which you need to sort out. Okay, those are the sort of things you need to sort out with the family. We do tell the families these things, discuss them, meal time. Okay, we're going to look at some of the do's and don'ts, some of the taboos, some of the do not ever. The one thing I will say is Spanish families are extremely welcoming. Every family on our program wants you in. They want you to be part of their family. Okay. They're extremely welcoming. However, it's also true that Spanish families sometimes tend to be quite conservative units, in that their lifestyle might seem quite regimented. Okay. Therefore, they plan things very well, and they find it difficult to kind of leave their routine. So we eat at 2:30 every day, and that's what we do. And that is the basis of our lifestyle. And so at 2:30, you better be here. And if you're late for lunch, that's a massive disrespect for the family. All right. We'll see more about the importance of food a bit later on. So if we look kind of black and white, what we've got is the family is going to offer you a single room, all your meals, family life. You are expected to take part in family life, transportation to and from school, advice, local information, goodwill, home from home. This is your home whilst you're here, and medical advice. This is very important. They will offer you medical advice. However, you have your insurance policy. So you need to understand your insurance policy and check up, the helpline line, the number. What is the procedure with your insurance policy? Are they asking you to pay for medical treatment in advance and then they give it back to you? Or do you just get an authorization off of them and they tell you which is the correct medical center to go to? Okay, very importantly, you read the conditions of your insurance and give them a call before you leave, just so you know what you're meant to be doing. Okay, it's one of the most common calls that I get is families saying, our volunteer has got a sore throat or, some kind of skin condition which has developed recently. What do we do? Okay, now the Spanish Public Health Service is excellent and flexible. And for most minor things, they will take you in, have a look, and give you basic advice. Okay? They'll just say, well, you're here in student visa, we're not going to charge you. However, the option of using a private medical insurance is also, that's what you're really entitled to. But in that case, it's possible that the family are not used to using private medical insurance. Okay? Anyway, volunteers, what you are going to offer, you want to speak English at home. That's what I want from you, please. To speak English at home. Obviously, you're going to learn some Spanish out of courtesy with extended family members, especially the elderly, if they are present. Try to speak a few words of Spanish as you can. 5 hours a week English tuition to the kids. Now, that tuition can take many different forms, but those are 5 hours you are going to give over to the kids, right? And doing things in English with them. We spoke yesterday about the enormous amount of homework. So it might be helping them out with their English homework if it comes down to something as basic as that. Good manners, okay? Your very best manners. What I love to hear from families is when they say, oh, these volunteers are so polite. All right? Absolutely love that. Okay? Participation. That means participation in family life. When they say, we're going to see auntie this or cousin that, there's a family gathering or we're going to a particular place, your default answer must be yes if they are inviting you to go. Okay? Not all the time, but think about it. A lot of the time they might have organized something especially for you. So, if you've arranged to meet other volunteers on a weekend, perhaps, first check with your family, just make sure. Okay, that's why it's a good idea to plan in advance. Okay. The option of, no, I'm a bit tired, I don't want to go, does not exist in Spain. Okay. These are people who live life to the full, right? Nobody understands why anybody would want to spend time alone in Spain. I mean this, if people spend time alone, downtime as we call it, the Spanish has still got this, well, we just don't understand, okay? And the more time you want to spend alone, the more they will organize social events to include you, all right? That's participation. Obviously, goodwill, a nice smile at home, even if you don't feel like it, all right? And engagement. So, if you're watching some series on Netflix or Amazon or some such thing, you don't go and do it alone in your room. Leave that for later. You will have free time. Sit with the family. Okay, after dinner, free time, weekends, and so on. And get the best. Enjoy family life. Okay. Enjoy family life. Okay, we've got this great thing. What is a family? Inclusion. We don't have many single parents. We don't have same-sex couples. We have some people who have lots of children. Some people have very few children. One of our volunteers is with a family with 8 children. Having a great time. having a great time. Just says it's a bit of a fight at dinner time because the kids are they're all kind of reaching for the stuff. But just says it's a great family. Okay. So anyway, we are tolerant. We would never say no to a family who are single sex or same sex, um, divorced, whatever. We don't really care. Obviously, we would tell you if you were going to live with a single sex, a same sex couple, and you would be welcome to say no. Um, and I think they would probably understand as well if it's a bit of a challenge for you. Okay. Anyway, so all sorts of families, dogs, cats, whatever. And there's what is a perfect family? Perfect family, a family who eat together, live together, do stuff together, communicate, and they communicate. All right. Number one, they try to communicate whatever way that is. So think for a moment, write down in the chat box, what are some of the problems which families have, please? What kind of problems do families generally? You write down in the chat box. Give me some. Fights, all right? Time management, oh yeah. Mhm. Wow. Sharing, yeah. Let's go over these. Yeah, I mean, there's just a few. But fights, absolutely. And one of the fantastic things about Spanish families is that they talk very loud. They're very noisy. And it's very difficult to know when they're actually having an argument and a fight or when they're just discussing something, right? Sometimes you just don't really know. And sometimes you think, oh gosh, I better head out because it seems like they're having a bit of a they're having a bit of a rumble. I'm going to head out to my room. No, don't. They won't get physical. I hope they won't get physical. Okay, sit it out, listen, be quiet, smile if somebody smiles at you, but try to like take it in. This is the way that people communicate when they are discussing something. Okay, and as much as you can, try to tune in and understand what are they talking about. Okay, they might be talking about the kids asking for ketchup and and the father or mother is going, "What? You can have ketchup with your pasta? Like that's ridiculous. Of course you can't." But it all sounds a bit exaggerated. So fights like that. Obviously, if there's fights between the kids, you are a responsible adult within the family unit, all right? And you have to intervene because we don't want kids fighting on your watch, as it were. Okay. Time management, really important. That's a great thing, Phoebe. Time management. Okay. And this applies to all your social life in Spain, but also with family. The Spanish are great at organizing and proposing social activities. All right, absolutely fantastic. And they can always tell you when things are going to begin. They can't always tell you when things are going to end. All right, and this is really important. Okay, so you can get yourself into a situation, right? We're going to visit some cousins who live in the next town. All right, what time we're going? We're leaving at 2. That's fine. Get there. You're thinking we're going for lunch. Going at 2, be back at 4, be back at 5. However, it might be that you get there for 2, you leave at 2, get there for 3, lunch starts at 3. By the time you finish eating, it's 5, so 2-hour lunch is, absolutely fine on the weekend. Then they go, wow, look, let's go and look. They're building a new swimming pool, like just down the road. Let's all go and have a look. So everybody walks down the road, on the way back, hey, you know what? Why don't we stop off and have an ice cream? There's an ice cream parlor just there. Okay, so now it's 5 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock. You finish having the ice cream at 6:30. Hey, you know what? We went this holiday we took to Greece last year. We took some fantastic photos and videos, and we made a video. Let's go home and watch it. Right, it's 7:30. 7:30, they're going, anybody feel a bit hungry or fancy a drink? Yeah, get the drinks out, get the snacks out. It's 8:30. They're going, 8:30. Wow, let's all go and sit in the garden. It's a beautiful evening. We're sitting in the garden. It's 9:30. Since we're all here, why don't we order some pizzas? Pizzas. Okay. It's 10, it's 10:30, it's 11. Okay. You thought you were going for 1 hour or 2 hours. And this thing has gone on and on. So it's very difficult for Spanish people to tell you when things will finish. Really difficult. Okay. And because you don't understand Spanish perfectly, obviously, it becomes more and more tiring for you because you're listening to more and more Spanish and you're understanding less and less. Okay. As the days go on, as the day goes on, you have to manage yourself. You have to manage your own time. That's something you have to think about in all sorts of social occasions, all right? All sorts of social events that you know when things are going to start, you don't know when they're going to finish, right? To ask or tell them, look, I've arranged to meet Zoe at 7 to go to the cinema. Will I be able to get there? To make sure and say it a few times. So it's very, very present. 9 times out of 10, you'll be absolutely delighted to enjoy their lack of time management. Okay. Because it's just like go with the flow. All right. And you'll just be enjoying yourself. But maybe once in a while, you just might find that, well, I wasn't expecting this and I'm getting tired. Okay. In that case, give me a call. Okay. I'll give another volunteer a call. Okay. Communication issues while the kids are getting older. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so sometimes our families complain, say, well, the volunteers got their phone out all the time, even at the dinner table. So we know to start with, don't take your mobile phone, don't take your smartphone to the dinner table. Don't take calls and don't start surfing the net at the dinner table, please. All right. But that is actually just, you're probably just a few years older than the kids at home. And the parents, if they were wise, if they were clever, they would watch some of your behavior and think, well, that's going to be our kids in 1 or 2 years. Okay. The fact that you might not want to say where you've been or who you've been with, I don't know. You might have gone out and met somebody and stayed out a bit later than normal. And they're asking you, well, where did you go? Well, you're not going to say, well, I went back to somebody's flat. I don't know if you people do these things anymore. But anyway, you're not going to want to say that. You're going to make up some lame excuse about why you were late. But their own kids are going to start making up lame excuses about why they were late as well. Okay? You might not smoke, but hold on, somebody might have offered you a cigarette and the curiosity got the better of you and you smoked the cigarette and you come home. And I tell you one thing, if any of you smoke or don't smoke or ever smoke, you know what? That smell stays on your clothes for hours and people will know you've been smoking. They might say to you, you smoke? No, I don't smoke. You're not going to go into the details. Well, I tried one last night. That's going to happen to their own kids as well, in vaping or whatever it is. Okay? Right, so communication issues really important. Economy, this is the big one. Spanish people don't talk about money. They hate talking about money. Okay? They don't talk, nobody knows anybody else's salary because they never ask, they never tell everybody. It's really bad really thought to be really personal. Something, I've got a new car. Okay, I've got a new car. How much did it cost? You don't ask that. How much did it cost? Okay. So Spanish people don't like talking about money, and especially, I suppose, if they've got economic problems, and it could be for any reason. Somebody might lose their job. There might be an illness which requires extra spending, whatever it is. Um, that will be the last thing that you are told about. Okay. We do ask families to tell us and to say, look, if your circumstances change and you're not able to, bear the cost of having an extra person at home, please let us know. It's the most natural thing in the world. But they will soldier on. Okay. Obviously, you are not expected to make any kind of contribution to the family, nor should you ever make any kind of contribution, economic contribution to the family. Okay. With the exception of the Spanish word is invitar, and in English we have invite. Okay, the two words which look very similar. Okay, which look very similar, and when words look similar but maybe have a slightly different meaning, we use the grammatical expression they are false friends. Okay, false friends. These are two words which look similar, but they're not exactly the same. So invite in English or invitar. Okay, Carlos, are you there? No, he's not. All right, it's a shame. I thought he'd be able to tell us. What's the difference? To invite means, yeah, come with me to a particular place. Yep. Spanish, invitar means I'm going to treat you. Right? So if I invite you, invito, right, invitar to go to the cinema, it means I am paying for your ticket. If I invite you to a restaurant, I am paying for your meal. If I invite you to go on holiday, I am paying for your holiday. Right. However, in English, it's not necessarily, it's not necessarily the other person is going to pay for you. You might be expected to pay something. In any case, if the family says we're going to a restaurant, if the family says we're going to the cinema, we're going away for a weekend, or we're going on holiday for a week, would you like to come? It's really important that you say, yes, how much will this cost? All right? And they might say, don't be silly. Don't be silly. We will pay for you, especially if it's going out for a meal, all right, or going out for a drink. They will pay for you, all right? However, if you're going away for a weekend or a week, which includes hotel and stuff like that, one of our volunteers, lovely guy from New Zealand a couple of years ago, they said, look, we're going down south to the beach and we're going to stay at a hotel and stuff like that, all right? What, would you like to come with us? Oh, yeah, okay. So you go away with the family. He went away with the family. End of the week, and a good time, good meals, this, that, and the other. And they come and say, okay, right, let's listen, it's a hotel and this and all the meals and all. That's 350 euros. Wow, he said. I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was part of the family. And then he came back to me, and it was quite right. He said, if I had known I was going to have to pay 350 euros, I probably wouldn't have traveled with them. I would have traveled with some other volunteers for the Easter week or whenever it was. So especially if they're talking about that, please ask them. All right, Carlos has arrived. It was just a little bit too late. There we go. And sharing, says Jess and Sienna. All right, sharing. Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sharing stuff, which is very, very typical, as you know, with kids. They might be good at sharing. They might not be very good at sharing. That is something which you have to help with. Okay, but Spanish people open their home and it's come in, and this is, this is your home, they will say. This is your home from home. Okay, here's some Spanish families. Not really very interesting, are they? There's the Spanish royal family. Can you see them up top? Yeah. Okay, with two princesses and a king and a queen, all very kind of, in the news. Quite popular these days because since the disaster happened in Valencia, they've been very visible. They've always been a little bit distant and a bit kind of, you know, um, not really very friendly, but they've really kind of reasserted themselves, and they're very popular at the moment because of the way they've been showing a lot of empathy and sympathy for the people of Valencia. Next one, that's a typical sort of gypsy family, yeah, from southern Spain. The way they dress, there's the little boy in sort of designer Burberry shirt and stuff like that, a bit showy, and then the women there with their lots and lots of stuff. Yeah, you won't be around too many of those people. We don't have any gypsy families actually. Gypsies, they're a kind of small minority, ethnic minority. Um, they have a lifestyle, very, very friendly people. I can tell you that, very friendly people, but somewhat on the edge of society. And then this might be a really typical, this one down here. Okay, this was a really typical Spanish family. On the left, you can see this photograph, which is about 20 years ago. Okay, and on the right, that's the family now. They were stars of a soap opera where they've actually, look, there's the little girl here, and there's the same little girl there. All right, so you can see them 20 years later. And that is a typically Spanish looking family. All right, so yours might look something like that. They might be a little bit younger. Right, okay, so all sorts of families. And what do families do together in Spain? They work. Sometimes they work together if they've got a family business. We've got a family business. I'll tell you what, sometimes you might know that sometimes there are more tensions at home because they're bringing the work home with them. Okay. In Valencia, one of the reasons we're having less placements in Valencia is because families who live here, a lot of families have lost everything. Like one thing is losing your home or having your home affected, but more to the point of people who have lost their businesses and lost their livelihood. So that's bad for Valencia. Okay. What do they do together? They eat together. So they always eat together. I'm gonna tell you this. The idea of no, I'm not going to be home at lunchtime does not exist to a Spanish family. That is the most important moment of the day. Okay. Now I'm going to have something elsewhere. What? They're going to ask you, what are you going to have? Where are you going to have? Who are you going to eat with? And you better have a good excuse. Oh, I'll pick something up. No, it doesn't exist in Spain. Oh, no, I'll have something later. Just leave it for. Does not exist. Okay, we have lunch at 2:30. They might say, and at 3 o'clock or 3:30, we've cleared up. Nobody's coming in to mess up the kitchen a second time. Okay, so they're quite functional in that sense. We have one volunteer at the moment who is very kind of erratic with her eating habits, and she might just, I'm not coming home today. So what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to go to the supermarket and buy some stuff. No, that's the no, 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 no. Okay? Spanish families will be extremely offended if you went out and bought food and brought it home. Okay? They would feel that what you're saying by doing that, you're saying, the food we provide is not good enough for this person. And that would be like maximum offense. Okay? So don't do it. No cookies, no snacks, no nothing. All right? Don't bring food home, and certainly don't keep food in your bedroom. If you do need, and I tell you what, when volunteers get together and I say, look, why don't we go, to Madrid or Bilbao or Barcelona or whatever, and so we can go and see this monument and that kind of museum and this sculpture or football stadium, whatever it is, and then people very quietly say, listen, all we want to do is hang out. We just want to go and sit down and have a pizza. Oh, we're going to go and hang out at Burger King or KFC. And I absolutely understand. Like, I absolutely understand and don't feel bad about that. If you decide you're going to get together with some other volunteers, what are we going to do? I just fancy going to McDonald's. I don't know why. All right, do it. Do it. Okay? Doesn't matter at all. Right? But eating together is one of the most kind of sacred moments of Spanish family life. Right? And they're quite conservative. You can ask one of our English volunteers, Alex, who's been making some typical English dishes for her family here, and they're not very impressed. So default is people from other countries don't know how to cook. All right? And listen to me, I've been here for more than 20 years, and my wife's family would not let me anywhere near the kitchen because they just think, obviously, I don't know how to cook anything at all. All right. What do families do? They have celebrations together. Yeah. And they really celebrate. They love a good birthday party. Everything. They love them. Okay. Christmas, New Year's, and so on. They do social activities together. Obviously, as the kids get older, it comes to a point, 15, 16, where they, the separation, natural kind of separation occurs. They study together, which I said yesterday. The parents want to help the kids with their homework, and this is, it's wrong. It's wrong. Okay, it's wrong that they have so much homework. It's wrong that the parents want to get involved with the homework. All right, but they do it, and that causes conflict and stress. Right? Because the parents are saying it's easy, and the kids go, well, I don't understand. And all you get is more and more and more. So if you've been sent 7 pages of exercises to do for homework, and you don't understand the first page, and we imagine pages 2 to 7 are going to be more difficult, then it gets worse and worse. So studying together, traveling together. They do like to travel together. Spanish are not great travelers, okay? So, typically go to England, oh, the food, go to Ireland, oh, the weather, go to France, oh, the people, Germany, oh, like the food, okay? A lot of other places, it's the food, the cost, okay? So they travel, yeah, if they invite you to go somewhere, go, yeah, absolutely, especially within Spain. Right, internationally, I think you're going to have a lot of chances with other volunteers. Okay, just remember from Spain, you can get over, and I'm thinking about from Madrid, from Valencia, from Bilbao, you're going to have, €20 trips all over the place. We're going to Germany in February, costs us like €30 each way. That's nothing. Absolutely, it's a flight, low cost flights and stuff. So think about doing your traveling with other volunteers. If you go international, they do sport together. They play paddle, they go swimming, all sorts of other stuff. Canoeing, I saw some of your skiing, the other kinds of sports, and they watch TV together. Although this is becoming more and more infrequent. Okay, as you know. Television is not what it used to be. So very few people actually watch live television. There might be the custom of watching the news whilst people are having dinner. Okay, it could be. Or watching soccer matches, possibly. All right. So where do Spanish people live? Look at some of these different houses. Okay. This first one, you can see here, that's a typical barrio. Okay, the barrio. Carlos, what's the meaning when we say barrio? What does this mean? Please do.
Barrio means like your own like community, like your own area.
Should we say something?
Huh?
Yeah, that's it. So that's your neighborhood, absolutely. Your
Yeah, the
community.
neighborhood.
Yeah,
Tu barrio. Yeah, tu barrio.
your barrio. And so this could be, you might be in a really nice barrio, which is really rich. But normally in the barrio, it would be something like this with apartment buildings. So you might be living in apartment buildings like this. Most families still live in apartments rather than in houses. Okay, I live in an apartment or a flat. Okay. Um, yeah,
Josh, you gotta roll your R when you say barrio.
barrio, barrio.
There we go. Barrio.
Okay, so you might be living in a place like this. More and more, what's happened is Spanish families like to live in their house with their little garden and their little community. So these are kind of these would normally be terraced houses. They're all exactly the same. It's just like living in a flat, but it's on 2 floors. They're not necessarily any bigger inside, but they've got their parking space, and they might have a little garden. They might even have a little swimming pool or paddling pool. So those tend to be on the outskirts of cities. Okay. So if you're in Alboraya, if anybody's in Alboraya, okay, going to the Marianista school, you're probably going to be living in something like this, right? However, if you're living in San Sebastian, you're probably going to be living in something like this, right? In a flat. Now, if you're lucky enough to be going to Highlands or Cumbres or Everest School, you're more likely to be living in something like this, which is a far more nice big house in its own piece of land with a swimming pool, with a big garden and stuff like that. Okay.
What about the Highland School, Josh?
Yeah, you're more likely to be in something like this.
Oh, lucky me.
Okay, depends, but normally, yeah. Okay, because that part of Madrid tends to have large kind of houses with their own plot of land. Okay, that's nice. And then if you're living like downtown and one of the historical areas, then it would be more like these older apartment buildings. Not so common anymore. They tend to be older people, and people, kind of tend to be moving out. But they're lovely buildings, some of these. All right. But anyway, whatever it is, the family will make you feel at home. And we can't say, oh well, Zara's got a swimming pool. We all want swimming pools. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Okay. The one thing you will find about Spanish homes is generally our experience is, what do you think, Spanish homes? Do you think they're clean generally? Clean or dirty? Clean or dirty? Write your answer in the chat box.
Clean.
Okay, somebody says clean. All right. Not only clean, they are spotlessly clean. Okay? Spotless. And you go into a Spanish home and you think, does anybody actually live here? Or do the people spend their whole day cleaning? Because honestly, they are spotless. Okay? Generally. I go into my sister's home, both my sisters with their families, my home, and somebody's left a sports bag here and a book there and a laptop there and a tablet, whatever, and there's sort of old sports shoes, by the front door. And it's, Spanish families would just not tolerate that. Okay, everything needs to be cleared away, right? Really important. So, having a bit of organized kind of mess, organized chaos doesn't exist for Spanish people, right? Very, very clean. Are they empty or full of things, of furniture?
Full.
They are full, absolutely. Gosh, yeah. Everything that can be fitted in will be in there. Okay, ornaments and tables and bits and pieces of furniture and decoration. Yeah, they tend to be very full. Yeah. Are they quiet or noisy?
Probably quite
Noisy?
Noisy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So they tend to be quite noisy. You know, some families might be very disciplined and say at certain times of the day we invite a bit of reflection. And that's absolutely fine. So we don't want any noise from 4 till 5. You know, that is their siesta time. Now, could be, but generally the talking and so on gets quite loud. Okay. Now, do they tend to be new or old?
old.
I'm going to say new. All right. Spanish have got this thing about wanting everything to be new. Want everything, to, even if it's a kind of old-fashioned furniture, we want it. We want new things. You've got to see what people throw out in the street. You know, their old furniture and stuff. So they've still got a bit of a thing about having new. Okay, are they traditional or modern?
Traditional.
Tend to be quite traditional. Yep, yep, yep. Warm or cold?
Warm.
Warm.
It depends.
It does depend very much, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah. So you might find, as far as central heating goes, most family homes will have a metered or timed system whereby the heating
Oh,
goes on and then it goes off at a particular time.
oh my God.
And you can't actually adjust it individually. If you're living in an apartment building, sometimes it's the apartment building, it's the whole building system which goes on and goes off at a particular time. Okay?
Maddie, turn your microphone off.
Yeah, there is that. Okay. So, yeah, you're going to get used to that, what they consider to be warm and what they consider to be cold. Most family homes, for example, down here in Valencia, you're much more worried about the heat because it can get very hot. However, down here in Valencia, most houses will have air conditioning. Up in the north of Spain, because it doesn't get hot for great expanses of the year, then to be honest, a lot of houses won't have air conditioning. But you'll see, you know, when they open the windows, when they close the windows, when they open doors, when they don't open the doors, sometimes it's because of their heating system. So, for example, you might find that you leave home in the morning, you close your bedroom door, and when you come home in the evening, that bedroom door is open. And you go, what? The kid's been in here looking for my stuff. What's going on? And actually, the only thing they might be doing is saying, well, no, because of our heating system, we need the air to circulate. And therefore, we leave the doors open during the day. There are little things like that which you might have to become accustomed to. And are they light or dark?
Light.
That's funny, isn't it? Yeah, they are light, but actually, that's not a priority for Spanish families. I don't know why. But you know, some of them can be quite dark and you know, the curtains are closed and they don't think anything of it. I'm not sure why that, to be honest.
Josh,
Yes.
do you mean like lights like on the ceiling or like the curtains being open or something?
Yeah, absolutely. The curtains being open. You know, they're generally always painted white or light colours. The lights might be on, but what I mean to say is it's not a priority to have kind of big windows with lots of light coming in, right? Compared to other countries. Now, that's probably because there's so many hours of daylight and so many hours of sunlight outside, and that Spanish people spend so much time out the doors that maybe Indoors, maybe it's not such a priority. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Some challenges for you to think about. I think we're not going to consider these now because we want to get through. I don't need to be sitting there for 2 hours every night. Okay. But these are some challenges for you to think about. All right. Family takes you to an extended family gatherings which go on for hours. What do you do? Do you A, sit there patiently, just engaging in polite conversation if somebody asks you something? Or do you start saying, excuse me, can you take me home? I'm tired. So is it A?
You sit there.
It's A.
You bring pajamas.
You go with the flow, you soak it up, you absorb that atmosphere. Okay? This is like going to the opera. Right? My wife likes the opera. I went to the opera last night, 4 hours in the opera. The best thing about the opera is at the end, say, wow, I sat there, I've been through it, I completed the thing, I was there for 4 hours and I didn't fall asleep. So it's the same. You have a great sense of achievement once you've finished one of the family celebrations or gatherings. This goes for weddings and communions as well. If you are lucky enough to be invited to a Spanish wedding or a Spanish communion, go, right? Because this might be like once in a lifetime experience for you, all right? And they are always eye-openers and always good fun, all right? Somebody in the family is making you feel uncomfortable. In which way? What would you do? Okay. Yeah, I don't like this has to be brought up, of course. This is something you need to talk about with other volunteers, I think. Remember, the Spanish concept of time, of noise, and of personal space, right, is quite different from other countries, right? So people can come right up toe to toe and they're having a chat with you and you go, gosh, we're at a bus stop. I'm not used to this. Somebody right up in my face like this, okay? And it can make you feel uncomfortable. You set your own personal space by taking a step back, okay? That's one way which you might feel uncomfortable. That is when somebody is invading your privacy. Another way that people might make you feel uncomfortable is, let's say there's another, we did have this situation actually, a volunteer, a very nice volunteer from New Zealand, and at her family home there was a maid, or there was somebody who came in to clean a couple of hours a day, who just happened to be about the same age as her. However, she was from a developing country, and she made our volunteer feel very uncomfortable by making comments about her, by saying, we're the same age and look how you get treated and look what I have to do. I'm here cleaning, in that case, I think also talk to other volunteers, try and find out, try and compare. Is anybody else going through this? What did you do? What was the situation? Okay, how did you resolve that conflict? Okay. If it's something as simple as, well, the kids keep on coming into my bedroom. Guess what? Children go into other people's bedrooms. And yes, they do look through adults' things because they have a never-ending curiosity. Okay? And I think maybe you can talk to the kids at one point. Don't tell them off. Just say, look, these are my things. Please, if you want to look, we could look at something together. Maybe you've got some jewelry or something or whatever it is, which they're fascinated in. Why don't we do it together? But yeah, if there's anybody else going into your room looking for your things, then you don't want that, and you do want to tell somebody in the family or at your placement. Remember our ladder of support, with whoever you feel most comfortable talking to. If there are any kind of aggression, whether you feel it to be gender, sexual, any other kind of aggression which you feel you are being subject to, let us know immediately, okay? I would say again, ask other volunteers because they're the same age group as you, and they might be able to tell you, well, look, this has happened to me, and I dealt with it this way, and that was successful, okay? If you prefer, talk to other volunteers who will definitely be able to give you very good advice. But also, if it's something which you can't cope with, let me know. Right? It's not happened before, but at least I'm not aware. Okay. All right then. You feel the family are asking you to spend too much time with the children. All right then. Okay. You feel the family are asking you to spend too much time with the children. That's a great thing. That's a great thing. And it's very difficult to say no. However, if you're being given a list of things which says 4 hours every day, prepare their afternoon snack, spend an hour doing English, now take them to music practice, pick them up, go shopping with them, then take them to basketball practice, then come home. You go, hold on, I said it's like 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day plus, let's say, normal family stuff. Lay on the table with them, or maybe picking them up after basketball practice or something like that. But no, not a great long list of things like an au pair. Okay, that's things you can tell me. You can also speak to the family and say, well, actually, I wanted to go to the gym or go training or go, during a dance class or a music class, or I've got Spanish class this evening, stuff like that. Okay. What are our perfect families like in Spain? Generally, both parents work. Generally, Spanish people want jobs for life. There's very little social mobility or employment mobility in Spain. That means when people get a job for life, which tends to be in the public sector, teachers, nurses, police officers, other kind of civil servants, that's enough for them. They're not that worried about the salary. Okay, all they want is job security. Okay? Not all your cases. Some of you've got some very high flying ones. Right. Low birth rate, lowest birth rate in Europe. Okay. People are entering the jobs market very, very late. Then they're having children or not having children very, very late as well. Salary, anything above 3,500 euros for a family unit is a good, comfortable salary income. Okay, so a family will be able to live comfortably on this amount of money. They leave home at 26 generally, 27, 28, marriage at 34. So this is going up and up, okay, because the price of housing is going up and up. Which means, the fact that you've left home at 17 or 18 to live this kind of adventure, they'll be like, what? What? We don't understand. We don't understand. And your parents let you. Oh my God. Absolutely incredible. Right? So, yeah. So marriage, so they leave home very late. Right. They get married reasonably late, 34, 35. They're secular. So most parents are not practicing Catholics. Some of them are, some of the schools they will be practicing Catholics, and they're quite tolerant. We're also finding there's a lot of immigration now from places like Morocco, rest of the European Union, Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, Africa. So you're starting to see a lot more diversity, right? Which is a good thing. We have not had very many diverse families, unfortunately. I would like this, but not too many. Okay? I think they tend to be amongst the more well-off families. You might find that the partner, mum or dad, is American or German or Swedish or something like that, which is what I would say. Okay. Our daily timetable, and look at this. This is probably the last important thing I'm going to say to you today. Does depend on the region, the season, and the day. But generally, you're going to be getting up at about 7. You're having your desayuno, which is your breakfast. School by 9 at the latest. Okay, you've then got a break for the almuerzo, which is like the morning break for half an hour. Okay, you normally might be given a piece of fruit or a sandwich or something to eat at school. The kids will definitely take something with them. At about 2 o'clock, 1:32, you have your comida, which is your lunch. And then there's a kind of break, normally until about 3:30 or 4. We might call it the siesta, which is the kind of midday nap. Notice midday is at 3 o'clock in Spain. Morning is anything until lunchtime. The morning is right up until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, so lunch might be 2:33, 1:30, 2:33, and then we have this quiet time, which might be reading. Some people go home after lunch and put on their pajamas and get into bed and sleep for an hour. Other people just sleep and sit down and have a bit of a rest. Other people don't do anything. They just maybe get on and clean their houses or read a book. But it tends to be a quiet time. Okay, if you want to go to a gym in Spain, go at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's nobody, absolutely nobody. So all the machines and everything are free. Okay. About 4 o'clock is like afternoon classes or back to work. We then have another little break about 5:30, which is the merienda, which is the afternoon snack, or typically the kids might go out with a little packet of cookies or something, or some orange juice, something like that to eat or drink, right? And then 6 o'clock, they might have English classes or go to sports training, music, something like music, or they might be at home doing their homework. And then 8:30 or so, evening meal, which is the cena, evening meal. And then maybe 9:30 would be children's bedtime. And then 10 o'clock, well, that's prime time TV. So if there was something really popular on TV, that would be on at 10 o'clock at night, which is obviously later in other countries. And adults' bedtime, 11:30, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, depends. Okay? So what do we notice about this? If the morning is right up until there, and the afternoon is kind of like that, and then the evening starts at 8:30 or so, we can see that everything is much later than definitely in Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, United States, right? You might have the customer going to bed at 9 o'clock. That would be understood at the beginning because you've got jet lag and stuff. It wouldn't be understood further on. You're going to be expected to adapt to this new timetable. How do you do that? I don't know how they do it really. I've been doing it for years. What I do know is this morning session is like one day. Okay, you recharge your batteries for about an hour by taking it easy. And then from about 4 or 5, you're back on, and it's like a second day. It's like the day starts again. Okay, so it's not like in England, finish work at 5, say goodbye to your mates, go home, you're home by 6:30. That's it. Have some dinner, sit down, watch the television, go to bed. Right? So days in Spain are longer, which is better for you. You have more experiences. Okay. All right, a couple more challenges. You don't like the family foods. You go and buy some snacks and keep them in your room. Yes or no?
You get in trouble.
You get in a big trouble, yeah. What are you going out buying that rubbish for? And obviously we're telling our kids not to eat that rubbish. Okay? Right, and they'll probably say more, like, you know what? if you have food in your room, the ants are going to turn up, or cockroaches or something like that. So that'll probably be the excuse. But really behind it, they just don't want you to have snacks in your room, all right? Do some binge snacking, comfort food and fast food and junk food when you're with other volunteers, okay? Don't be ashamed, you know, if you want a kebab or something, all right? Spanish society is very important. Spanish society, 100 years ago, less than 100 years ago, about 90 years ago, there's a civil war in Spain, okay? And for a period of about 20, 30 years after that, there was great poverty, great poverty. You couldn't believe the sort of poverty there was in Spain. So this generation's parents lived through, I'm talking about the parents, your host parents, their parents lived through that era of poverty. Okay. Whereas this generation, your host parents, have enjoyed prosperity and stability. However, those habits about, you know, having enough to eat and being well off enough and having enough, you know, being the kind of material comfort and so on, very, very important for Spanish people. So it's only a generation ago that they were living in relative poverty, right? And so that is really the basis for a lot of the behavior now. So think about that sometime. The idea about, you know, we're not able to provide food would have been such a shameful kind of reflection on the family years ago. And that's still kind of ingrained into the Spanish nationality, right? You think the children are looking for your clothes, you ask for a lock in your door. Yes or no?
No.
No.
No, because you're part of the family and you know, they're your kids too now, or your little brothers and sisters. So no lock on your door. And the family.
I also think no.
Good. I think no, you're not going to get a lock on your door. All right.
No.
No, good. Say it loud. Okay. And the family don't want to give you a key at the beginning. What do you do? They don't
Big.
want to give you a key. Beg. I think you just have to, you know, sort of demonstrate, you know. I think they will, unless I think only one of two systems. They've got some really, really complicated alarm system. You know, can't think it happening. But they will. Okay. I've seen it a couple of times and go, no, well, we're not doing you at the moment because we want to know when you're coming and going. Okay. You keep it easy, take it easy, go with the flow. I will intervene there through the school if that's a kind of ongoing situation, but very, very so. Good. Let's be proactive then. Let's help cleaning up. You know, make it visible. Make it visible. Proactive means visibility. So this means good practice at home. Cleaning up. Be the first person to make sure that you've taken your bag, your jacket and everything into your bedroom and leave it there. Don't leave it hanging up in the common area. Okay? You're setting a good example to the kids. Okay. Clean up. Help clear the table. And so when you finish eating, you just start collecting the plates. They can say, no, don't bother, you know, we'll do it afterwards, or let's do it together, or maybe we haven't finished. But be there, you know, and show that you're willing to do it, right? Yeah, it might be the dishwasher's full. Okay, you know, open it. Shall I open it? I'll take it out. Shall we take it out together with the kids? You know, to be very visible, right? We've got a volunteer who's got this situation with her. Oh, she's not doing very much. And the volunteer said, I'm not doing much. I'm cleaning the whole kitchen every day. You know, and I said, but have the family seen you doing this? No. Well, tell them. Be visible while you're doing it. Nobody should have to clean the whole kitchen every day. Okay. Respect their timetables, especially meal time. Okay. ask, what time do I need to be home? It's not because they're trying to kind of keep tabs on you, but it is definitely if they've got kids, they don't want people coming in at 2 o'clock in the morning making noise. Okay. Tell the family where you're going and when you're going, when you're going to be back. You also part of the code of conduct is that when you travel outside your host community, you have to tell me, please. Okay. So if you're going to Italy for the weekend, just send me a text message to tell me when you're going and when you're coming back. All right? Really important.
Josh,
Yep.
sorry, what is considered our host community? Is it like, say I'm in Madrid, do I have to tell you if I go to Valencia, or is it just the country?
Yeah, if you're leaving your home city or region,
Okay.
yeah, I think if it means you're going to be away overnight, I think that's fine. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's just when I get a message from you at 2 o'clock in the morning saying I've missed the train. And I'll be going, which train and where? At least I kind of know more or less where you are. Okay. All right. It's not, I do not have to give you permission. You go, of course, you do what you have to do. But I might give you some advice, okay, about where to stay or the best, what to do if you get into trouble or stuff like that. Share well, okay, share things. Yeah, of course you can share things, so you are. Okay, participate. Say yes. Again, that's default. Everything they offer you, say yes. Do you want to try this? Do you want to go here? Do you want to come with us? Say yes. You never know. It might be a once in a lifetime opportunity to do something. You might not get that same opportunity again. Offer to do chores. Offer to help. When you see somebody's taking out the rubbish, when you see somebody's going to take the dog for a walk, offer, well, can I come? Or, and the following day, well, maybe you like dogs. Let me do it. I'd like to do it, Okay, and engage, right? And which means talk, and promote children's development. All right, promote children's development. The best way you're going to do this is by communicating with kids, and specifically in English. All right. The families want you in their homes because they think their children are going to speak English with you. Number one, they want their kids to practice English with you. All right. And the best way you can do that is by talking to the kids in English. And many volunteers say yes, but the kids don't want to talk to me in English. So how do we do this? What do? We have to start implementing low-level communication where it becomes our lingua franca. That becomes the way that we communicate. What is the best way of doing it? By little things. Hello, goodbye, good morning, please, thank you, can I have, do you want? Okay, the parents want to see this. One time the parents are all together with you, with the kids. It's going to be probably in the morning when they leave for school, but particularly at meal time. So make sure you are constantly interacting with the kids at meal times in English, because that will be the high visibility where the parents are noticing. Okay? And from that, you'll have little things. Okay? So, would you like some tomatoes? All right, tomatoes. Do you like tomatoes? All right, and you'll like, oh, yes, I like tomatoes. I don't. What color are they? Are they red or green? Okay, so you might just, there's a little bit of chit chat going on. And then the child might just, there's a spark of curiosity. Hold on. Do you have tomatoes? First of all, do you like tomatoes? And then the child, Australia, New Zealand, tomatoes? Do you have tomatoes in New Zealand? Okay. That's the way to kind of awaken that kind of engagement with the kids, all right? Low level. It doesn't have to be now we're going to sit down and have, like yesterday, a kind of rather formalized conversation or stuff like that. There we go. Socialization activities. I'm not going to go through this really, but these are things which you could be doing with kids. One is, remember, when you're helping kids, when you're helping out, show that things can be fun, right? Not a nightmarish obligation. Okay? With little kids, it's actually easier, isn't it? Clearing up their toys and stuff like that, making it into a little game. Okay? And do's and don'ts. Okay, we'll talk about those. But there's some advice again. Let's say it again. Spend time with the family. Speak to the kids in English. Offer your help. Keep your room tidy. Respect timetables. Do not skip meals. Try to say yes. Tell the family your plans. Check on food arrangements and snacks. Okay. When is lunch? When isn't lunch? I'm eating out. Why? Because I'm meeting some friends to go to the cinema. Great. They all understand. Okay. Don't turn up with food, and particularly don't turn up with a half-eaten pizza. Don't turn up with your McDonald's bag or whatever, and then think and get ready, please, to have a new vision, a new concept of your time, your space, and the noise levels, please. Okay. So that's the last thing. This is Jacob from New Zealand. And this was Mallory's family. Yeah, look, they were really happy. They won the photo competition. Okay, let's have a look. Tell me, can you hear what Jacob says? Listen. Can you hear him?
No.
No, it's leggy like last time.
Yeah, I know that. Well, all right. Jacob, I will tell you the place that Jacob is, which is a beautiful, you see that behind him? That's a 2,000-year-old aqueduct, which is still standing just north of Madrid. So that's going to be somewhere you're going to want to go and visit. Beautiful city, medieval city called Segovia. Okay, Jacob had a really bad time, actually. He was a fantastic kid, fantastic volunteer, came when he was 17 from New Zealand, went to a lovely school, and everything was going well. And then he told me, like 3 months after he arrived, he said, look, the family still haven't given me the key. He said, in fact, they said, I don't deserve the key. I have to earn the key. I said, wow. Then he said, another time I went out running and I came back and there was nobody home, and I literally just had to wait there for 3 hours until they came back. I go, wow, you didn't tell us this. Didn't you say anything at school? No, I didn't like to because I don't want to get in the way. Well, so there was a real problem of communication there. He should have told somebody that he didn't have the key. He should have told us his family were completely unreasonable with him. I know for a fact he's one of the nicest, most polite people you could hope to meet. There's nothing he did which was wrong, but unfortunately, he went home. Only went like 1 month early instead of going back in July. He went back at the end of May. But his time was not fantastic, and it was because of that. It was because of unreasonable family demands on him. So if you think that's happening, please let us know. Okay, that was a strange family. Real high flyers. I don't know what they were really thinking about, but obviously they were not prepared to have somebody in their home from another culture. Okay, all right. But anyway, he was still, he got on great with the other kids. Right, there we go. Any more questions then before we go? Any questions about families, please? Any questions about families? You will all have your family details. I've got I've got all the family details, with the exception. No, I've got all the family details now. The only ones I need to sort out is if you're going to Cumbres. Okay, so if you're going to Cumbres, down near Valencia, I've got the families, but I don't know who. I don't know which families you're going to. All right, so if you're going to Cumbres in Valencia, I'll sort that out by file. Okay. Elias, Elias and you, Carlos, can talk to any teachers, the head teachers, but then you'll have two people assigned to you who will be Monse, okay, Monse and Asier, who you can talk to. I'll make sure you're in contact with them by next week. That's it. Yeah, you'll be able to talk to them before you go next week. Okay.
Josh,
Yes.
when should I be expecting my actual host family's details? Because I received one family who is not the family I've been in contact with.
That's right. Yeah, I'm constantly in contact with Marta, who's your host, right? Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to ask her right now because I'm doing another project with her. I'll just make sure because your host family's called is the name Monica.
One moment. Her name is Veronica.
Veronica. Okay. And have they reached out to you?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So I will make sure that I'll just ask Martha when we finish to get that.